Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God, Yahuwah. I have been crucified with Yeshua. It is no longer I who live, but Messiah who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. But test everything, hold fast what is good, making the best use of the time, because brethren, the days are evil. Welcome to the channel Think Again. Sets apart people, always desiring truth. Hey, blessings. The commenters just hate God. They embrace religion over truth. There's no action in their faith. Their faith is but theory. When you have theology as your truth, you have no God. But when you have truth, you have both the Father and the Son, because the Father is truth and the Son is also truth. Thy law is truth. Thy word is truth. Yeshua, the truth. This commenter wrote this. See that the Lord has given you the Sabbath, therefore he has given you the 6th day, bread for 2 days. Abide every man in his place, don't go out from the place, so the people rest on the 7th day. So notice that these dispensationalists will go and quote the Old Testament, that's which they say they are not under and it's not for them. So they try to emphasize that, you're not supposed to leave your house on the Sabbath. You see, they are being deceptive because they don't use the New Testament to see how Jesus kept the Sabbath. Yet Jesus showed us perfectly how to keep the Sabbath in their time. In this time, in the Old Testament, they didn't leave their house because they were nomadic and they would be tempted to go and explore new places. So they would want to discover and explore new places. So for this reason, God said, everyone stay in your tent. Don't leave your house. Don't even make a fire, because at that stage, men were making swords and they were doing steel work. And so the fire was very needed at that time. So they would be tempted to work. So the context of Exodus chapter 31, when God gave the commandments, the people were nomadic and they were swordsmen, making swords, steel and all that stuff. So they were into metal work, in other words. So God said, don't leave the place. Now remember, the consequence of breaking the Sabbath was punishment. You would be killed. Notice that the punishment on Adam and Eve was death. Notice, did God kill them? No. You see, this is what you can't understand as a dispensationalist. If you are a teacher, we had a thing called the punishment laws, where a child did something, you would take a whip and whip the child. That was in the 80s. You find coming towards the 90s, the punishment laws were still there, but most teachers didn't make use of it. It was just a way of threatening someone so that they would stay in line. After the 90s, around about 2000 and something in South Africa, they pulled away the punishment laws and said no teacher can use punishment. Let's look at the school situation now.
Let you know that you were great teacher. So what? And I don't make us what? What is happening?
More shocking news, a primary school pupil has been arrested after allegedly shooting a principal in Primrose, Ekurhuleni this morning. The grade 6 pupil faces charges of attempted murder. The Primrose Hill primary school principal has been taken to hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, Gauteng Education MEC Matome Chilwane says he is deeply devastated by the shooting.
It's in total chaos. Children are shooting the teachers, hitting the teachers in South Africa. Gang violence, because why? The teacher can't hit. So the children are hitting other children, but the teacher themselves cannot hit the children. God's law is flipped. The Bible teaches us in the Old Testament, rather use the rod than spoil the child. Use it. Discipline him while he's young so he knows the way he should go. God did exactly the same thing with the law. There was punishment laws so that a man willfully would not want to break the law. Today, the dispensationalist Baptists are teaching that because there is no punishment there's no law. Really? Now, what was Paul mentioning concerning these things when he said that we're not under the law? He's trying to say, if there's no punishment of the law, he says, then don't break it. The Messiah, Yeshua, took the punishment to the cross. He paid the price for the punishment. So if someone paid your fine, or you're going to continue doing the sin, that's practically what you're teaching here as a dispensational Baptist. Continue in your sin. Because why? There's no punishment anymore. Don't forget that sin is transgression of the law. So if I break the Sabbath, I then breaking the law. And if I break one of these least commandments, I am guilty of breaking all. This is what the Bible clearly teaches. Clearly teaches. Jesus himself said, blessed are those who teach the commandments. They will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So out of this dispensational preacher that teaches against God's law, God's going to spit him out of his mouth. He's going to say on that day, Lord, Lord, open for me, open. The Lord is going to say, I do not know you. Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. But for me, he'll say, come, my child, who has taught my word and my truth. Thy law is truth. That's what I taught. Jesus said that we should keep his commandments. If we love Jesus and he's paid the price on the cross, then therefore we should do his commandments to honor him, because he's taken away the punishment. These dispensationalists, even Rob, that other idiot, what is his name? He's some professor. I forgot his name, but anyway, Robert something. I notice all these dispensational guys, they like the name Rob, or they're robbing you with their philosophies. Always Rob something. You got Robert Breaker. Yeah, he's breaking the commandments of God. The other one is Rob something else. I forgot his surname now. But yeah, he teaches a lot of nonsense too. Got the title professor. It's amazing how these professors can't understand truth. You see, you'd rather study normal engineering and mathematics and science and physics. Maybe you'll have more common sense than old that went to study theology. You see, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between being brilliant and being a moron. We get our knowledge from God because why? We submit to him. When you submit to the Lord, you'll have great knowledge. Remember that. The knowledge of the Lord is the greatest knowledge that a man could ever acquire. I encourage you to seek him out and seek his truth. Blessings. Baruch Hashem Adonai. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Praise Yah. Praise him always.